I love YouTube. I know it's been a long time since y'all seen one of these darn on type of videos. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So shit has hit the fan since my last video. I mean, what is this shit with me finding out the news? Like they dropped the news right after the fact. Y'all remember when I told y'all I was going to support Tom Steyer, and then not even 12 hours later I learned that he dropped out the race. Honey, here I am wanting to finally, invest in myself and get back into aesthetics full time. And then not even 12 hours later, honey, 12 hours is the magical number because I did my video around this time at night, around 6, 7 o'clock at night, right? Honey, how come I get up 8 o'clock this morning? So it's about 12, 14 hours later. And, honey, we get the news that the governor is shutting down all beauty spas and everything. Mobile and all. I mean, spas, massage therapy, barbers. We all can't see nobody after 5 o'clock Wednesday. So tomorrow will be the last day we can see anybody. Anybody. For not 1, not 2, not 3, but for 4 weeks. For 4 weeks. Now I'm trying to figure out. Now I understand this social distancing, but something's not adding up. Because I'm trying to figure out why is we on a 4-week man. Now, Governor Cooper, you got some motherfucking explaining to do. Now I understand the quarantine and all of that, but what is not making sense to me is the most affected group is young children, right? And older folks. And I'm not saying that because I'm in my mid-20s that, we should just be walking around. Because, we can become, we can get around older folks and they can become compromised. Or, somebody like myself who has a compromised immune system is more susceptible to become compromised. I understand all that. But the thing is this. You can't put us on a month lockdown. But then you're talking about students are... Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. We in March. For a second, I thought students were going back April 15th. Okay, now it makes sense. Never mind. Because I was about to say, how in the world is students going back to school April 15th? But then we are darn on lockdown for a month. Okay, now it makes sense to me. So, little error, y'all. Disregard that. So, never mind. I was thinking that if students are going back to school April 15th, why in the hell we on lockdown until like April the 25th? And then it could extend beyond that. Because who to say that this shit... Because it's like if you're going based off of a couple people here and there still being sick, well, guess what? They still going to be a couple people here and there in the next darn on 2-3 months. So it's like, are we going to be on shutdown for the next several months? I'm trying to figure out what is the number of people who... Because once again, people being affected is going to be inevitable. So now we need to come up to the conclusion, what is going to be a safe number where people can go and still work? Because if it's like, if you're going to uphold it for a few people, people going to have some questions to ask. Like, we talking about a $2.5 trillion bailout because of the fact that you're putting people in the house for a couple of people that could be a compromise. And not to minimize the 3%, because I'm part of the 3%. Because I'm a cancer survivor, and I got doggone Crohn's disease. And, skin-wise, since it's airborne and shit, my skin ain't the first barrier of defense too tough because I have atopical dermatitis. So it can easily bypass my doggone skin and then get into my darn compromised immune system. And I'm even saying that this is a little bit too much. This is a little bit too much. Because it's like, once again, where is we got to go beyond just quarantining people. We got to go beyond quarantining people because this shit can lay dormant. It can darn gonna resurface, and then we talking about a resurgence going to happen anyways in the darn gonna fall. So is we going to get hit twice this year? You already got us taken out for 30 days for March 25th to April 25th. So when this shit does happen back in the fall, are we going to lose out on our darn on winter sales as well? Because you already darn on took away our spring. And then if this shit goes beyond 30 days, you're going to tap into a little bit of our summer. And that is the highest time for us beauticians. And what's pissing me off is with this $2.5 trillion plan, we're going to get into this in a moment, but I'm going to tell you what it don't include. It don't include people who are self-employed, which is basically about 90% of darn on beauticians. So I'm trying to figure out, now maybe under Nancy Pelosi it does, but I know what the Republicans were proposing, self-employed people were not included like that. And then both of them, sadly, is not really thinking about the beauticians. Especially Ward Cooper. It's like at the end of this, I'm going to need some proposals for some grants or, a tax credit or something. Because it's like, now, bitch, you ain't about to have me out of work. And then once we get back to living our best life, you ain't compensating me with nothing. Because the way they talking, hell, if they basing off 2018 tax returns, a lot of us estheticians who are within our first 5 years, we got little to no tax liabilities. Because most of our stuff is going into buying our equipments and revamping and building and expanding. So it's like, hell, if we do get anything, we're going to only get $600 of the $1,200 that they were proposing. Now we're going to get into this in a moment, but I'm just laying this out for my beauticians and showing why I am so frustrated. Because once again, the fact that this came out the blue, as far as because this virus has been around for some months now, and it has been to this dangerous proportion now for the past couple weeks. So if we knew that this lockdown was coming, which there was rumbles that it was going to happen on April, so we were already preparing for next week. So we was already starting to book people for this last week, to only find out that we don't even have this last week. You all of a sudden give us a 2-day notice, Roy Cooper. Like you dropped the news on us on Monday to tell us that, we need to shut down by Wednesday at 5. So you give us a 2-day damn notice to cancel appointments, to double book people, to get them in, and all this, that, and the third. And then saying that it's a minimum of 30 days. Notice he said minimum. That does not mean that we even going to have a guarantee of they're going to opening back on April the 25th. Because if the CDC says if it's still one person out there sick, because they ain't even made they haven't even said what would be the acceptable number for us to go back operating as normal. Because realistically, compared to the common influenza, the death toll has been substantially smaller, and you see we now on a global pandemic shutdown, even though this strand of the COVID virus has shown to be less deadly than some of its counterparts, such as MERS and all of that. But because it's a new strand, all of a sudden we done put the whole world in a whole shutdown. And some countries, rightfully so, because of the high mortality. I can understand for Italy and Australia, and I can understand for China. But this is what I'm not getting with the United States. We supposed to be the most successful country in the world. Tell me why you have China giving out 10,000 plus tests a day. And in America, we just finally got something set up in Fayetteville for drive-by testing. And it's a limit of 1,300 kits, I believe. It's like, where is the massive amount of darn on test kits for people? Of the average everyday person? Because that would be a quick way we could darn on get the ball rolling. Because it's like, also, can we recontract the virus? Like, I want to know, because they haven't even mentioned that if this is a virus that can be caught multiple times. Like, is it like influenza where you can catch it over and over again? Or is it something almost similar to chicken? Because even though it's in the same family, I wonder, does it act the same? Like, can somebody catch it multiple times? Because if we can catch it multiple times, Lord Jesus, it's really going to be a mess. It's like, is it like the flu? Like, this is what I need to know, because I've been listening to doctors and everything, and I wish on Here for the Food with Melissa Ford that they would have asked her, like, well, does this shit operate where a person can become a carrier multiple times? Or is it like once you get it and it's out your system, your body doesn't develop immunity to it, like the chicken pox? Like, you can't catch the chicken pox twice. Like, I need to know that. Like, can this shit be caught twice? Because if it's like influenza where you can catch the shit multiple times, it's like, well, hell, we about to be darn on a permanent lockdown. I don't get this. But once again, the beauticians, we are darn on left out. Our business are in jeopardy. And then it's like a black darn on beautician just opened up her doors. And here I am supporting a fellow darn on Esty. Done open up her shop on March 21st, right? I supposed to been going up for a follow-up service tomorrow to only find out that I have to cancel my appointment because she already done closed her doors. Here I am trying to support somebody and she only been in business one day. Because she was closed, because of the fact she's up and, she's new and upcoming. She was closed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So I was going to go back there Wednesday. But now, hell, I got to darn go work on my own people. And then, like I said, we all supposed to be darn gonna close our doors and shit by darn gone 5 o'clock. But my thing is this: after this is over, I don't hear no proposals specifically towards the beautician community. Now, I done did some research and found out the median annual income of what we make. So in North Carolina, estheticians, we make about $42,000. So what I did was I divided that by 12. And since you're putting us on a mandatory 30-day shutdown, I think we should get a tax credit for a whole month of what the median average service of what we get. So since we make $42,000 a year in the state of North Carolina, you divide that by 12, that is $3,500. So what I am proposing to Governor Roy Cooper is we need to all be compensated with a $3,500 tax credit. And matter of fact, we could take this to the federal level and they're gonna make propose this throughout the whole nation based off your state. So, but in North Carolina, honey, we estheticians, we need to get about $3,500. Now, for cosmetologists and barbers who make about $30,000 a year, divide that by 12. Y'all need to be looking at a $2,500 tax credit. And for massage therapists, $51,000 divided by 12. Y'all need to get a $4,250 tax credit. And nail techs, about $25,000 divided by 12. A $2,083 tax credit. And it's only fair because, once again, you putting us out of business for an entire month. And then we got the darn on still deal with the possibility that we might go into a second month. And then it's like, hell, this shit gonna resurge in the fall, and you more likely close us down again. So this needs to occur twice. So if we do also close down in the fall, you times that by 2. So for us beauticians, that's a $7,000 tax credit. A $7,000 tax credit. Because we as beauticians, we should have, okay, my camera froze for a second. We should have our own doggone tax credits in addition to the general tax proposal that they proposing. So this is what we should have as business on, because we got a business expenses to doggone look after. And $600 ain't gonna work for us, because once again, a lot of us fall within that zero tax liability group. So we looking at being on the $600 side of the spectrum. But now they couldn't even agree on that. So now, Speaker Pelosi unveils a 2.5. It was originally 1.5 trillion. Now they done upped it to 2.5 trillion. So Democrats unveils 2.5 trillion coronavirus stimulus plan as Senate bill stagnates. So House Speaker Pelosi unveils a 2.5 trillion $1 trillion virus economic stimulus plan in a bid to shape negotiations on a Senate measure that stalled on Monday, triggering a sell in U.S. equities market. Pelosi's 1,400-page bill will have broad implications for the financial sector. It will force lenders to grant a temporary reprieve for mortgage and car payments and credit card bills. It will order the Federal Reserve to provide loan services with liquidity to allow borrowers to stop paying their mortgages for up to 360 days, pretty much about 5 days short of a year. Public housing residents will get a temporary reprieve from paying rent. That was something that was not previously discussed in the Republican bill. They was talking about, pretty much stalling the courts. The courts wasn't going to hear about, evictions or nothing. But they didn't, mandate no reprieve for paying rent. So I'm glad Nancy Pelosi put that in there. And student loan borrowers will have $10,000 of debt forgiven. Let me tell you how important that is. Honey, now that would be a huge help for us beauticians. It's like, hell, if we can get that, we might overlook the fact that y'all put us out of business for a whole month. It's like, hell, if we can get the $10,000 in debt, we might darn gonna settle for that. But hell, it's like, at the way y'all, the fact that this shit might pop back off in the fall, honey, we might as well just go for both at this point. We need our darn on additional tax credit in addition to this $10,000. But that $10,000 would be something nice. Honey, that shit would jump my credit score because I owe $11,000 in student loan debt. Honey, that will eradicate over 90% of, about 89% of my student loan debt. Honey, shit, my credit score would jump up a good 100 points by just with that alone. Honey, that would be a blessing. If I didn't have to worry about, a neonet contact. They still talking about my payment due tomorrow. Honey, you going to be looking for that darn on payment, bitch. And that's something. It's like, how in the hell that the student loans are still demanding payments and shit. But you got everything else that it's supposed to be started. Your lights can't get cut off, your cable can't get off, but you still like trying to get a student loans out of me? Oh hell no. What I'm gonna do is be smart enough to pay this cable bill, so that way when this shit does finally lift, I won't be one of the people in the situation where they hit that switch and all the people who's been backed up for 2 months, because Spectrum ain't gonna give you no darn on time frame after this shit lifts. They gonna be darn on malicious enough where the day after this shit lifts, they gonna darn on flip the switch, honey. And like I said, they gonna be the ultimate Drake challengers, honey. That switch gonna flip, but it ain't gonna never flip back on for you until you pay the darn on money. Until you got the money, honey, they gonna keep your darn on shit on the red light. All them blue lights are gonna flick on off, and you gonna have that one darn on flickering red light on your damn modem until you darn gonna run them the money. But anyways, going on to negative consumer credit reporting would be halted. Foreclosures and evictions would be banned. So then she goes further to state there are currently no plans for House members to return to Washington to vote on the bill, and the proposal appears to be a list of demands Democrats want to see included in the Senate bill. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, I think it's Mnuchin, and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer spent much of Monday negotiating behind closed doors of the Senate proposal. Initially introduced last week, Secretary Mnuchin just left my office, Schumer said on the Senate floor shortly after House Democrats introduced their bill. We are going to work on it into the night. Democrats on Monday blocked Senate Majority Leaders Mitch McConnell. Oh Lord, I wish he had gone ahead and contract the virus and dropped dead. But Mitch McConnell's second attempt at a procedural vote to advance his $1.8 trillion plan, saying its loan program for companies lacks transparency and oversight, which it does. Investors and Americans are looking to policymakers to provide concrete action to respond to the health risks of the global health crisis and the economic fallout. Democrats say they still aren't satisfied with changes to the Senate's Republican written bill. The House decision to introduce a counterproposal, even as messaging bill, risks slowing the process further. Goes on to further state the House and Senate will have to pass the same version of the bill before sending it to President Donald Trump for his signature. Which is why people who thought that this was passed already, no, it's not. Because both of these darn gone houses can't get on the court. Because we back and forth with the darn gone policy darn gone politics during a time of darn gone potential moral peril. Honey, that was one hell of a darn gone tragic tongue twister. All pun intended, because this is quite the tragic situation. So now going on to the individual payments. The House bill will require corporations receiving any federal assistance to restrict executive pay, ban so-called golden parachute payments for the departing executives, and we've been seeing that left and right. All these executives have been all of a sudden darn gone leaving and calling it quits. Why and you already got your millions of dollars. Why in the hell is we darn gone give you money on top of that? So I'm definitely here for that darn gone limitation. And then stop buybacks, honey. They've been listening to Mark Cuban from Shark Tank, and I'm here for it. Halt stock buybacks and dividend payments, pay $15 minimum wage and maintain their workforce and any labor union agreements. Okay, we can argue on the $15 minimum wage depending on the worker. Like I said, I think we should argue more so, and maybe they will finally come to a settlement, at least for this group to be at $12 an hour. But like I said, I told y'all my problems with trying to immediately raise the wage up to 15. I think we should slowly get there. So I don't agree with the Democrats on the $15 minimum wage at this time. But under the House bill, all individuals with a Social Security number, including retirees and the unemployed, will receive $1,500 compared with $1,200 for taxpayers in the Senate bill. Now I wonder, is that up to $1,500, or is it, because they saying just $1,500? So I wonder, is that a flat $1,500? We're going to see in a moment. But households with 2020 incomes over $150,000 for a joint filer, $112,000 for a head of household filer, and $75,000 for a single filer will be required to pay back part of or all of the assistance. Wait a minute, did my thing jump? Oh, there you go. Assistance over 3 years for this household. The payment is a 0 interest rate loan. So really, let's see, here they go, chain the shit up again. Now here we go. Now what we thought was actually would be considered like a stimulus grant, which you didn't have to pay back. Now they done converted it into a loan. So now Democrats, here we go on this. Once again, this is Nancy Pelosi's proposal. So now Nancy Pelosi has proposed this to be considered a loan for the average everyday working person, in the circumstance that we make above a certain amount in 2020. Which, okay, I could possibly understand. To a certain, I really don't. I think it should still be considered a grant, because it's like when you bailed out the darn on automotive industry, was it? I need to look and see, was that considered a damn grant or a darn on loan? Because I'm trying to figure out how in the hell we granted the darn on auto industry out, but then you expecting them, and then it's like the shit come from our taxpayer dollars. You telling us we can't darn gonna keep that darn on money. We got when we working, we paying taxes any damn way. Now you're gonna take back the money that you got for me in the first place, and darn gonna charge me over 3 years. I don't give a damn if it's interest free. Just off the premise of that is darn quite appalling, to say the least. But to go in to say both bills will boost unemployment checks by $600 per week and expand the pool of people who qualify. Now, I want to know, is that people who have limited work history as far as hourly? Because y'all know I worked a lot of 1099 jobs, independent contractor jobs. But I want to know, is this, I don't got too much years of hourly experience under my belt. So I'm trying to see how would this apply? I need to see shit. I don't see me making $2,400 a month. That's for some of y'all that's done got 10, 12, 14 years under y'all belt working hourly. Once again, this is why us beauticians, we need our own darn go, because we can't even hardly file for unemployment no way. And for us that can, it's like, is we going to be at this $600 a week? If so, okay, we can possibly oversee, not having our own special grants. But I don't think that most of us will be at this $600 per week. This sounds like somebody who makes well over $60,000 a year. Let me see, $600 per week. Let me see what that falls under. Because Social Security pays half of what a person annually would make. So that's $2,400 a month times 12. That's $28,800. So times that by 2. So that's about right. That's equivalent to somebody making around over $57,000 a year. Which once again, I just broke down the stats for us beauticians. None of us on the median average is nowhere near that. The highest is massage therapists making $51,000 a year. So we don't even fall within that. The legislation would authorize the Federal Reserve to purchase state and local government bonds to bolster resources needed to fight the coronavirus outbreak. The House bill would also send $60 billion to schools and universities. Okay, now here comes the GOP rebuff. Republicans denounce House Democrat bill as a wish list, noting it includes provisions on federal elections, minimum wage, union regulations, and climate change that Democrats have been long advocating. Now, okay, I can understand the GOP's frustration on that, because it's like, now, bitch, we is focusing on the coronavirus, and it's like, this is not the time to play politics on trying to strong arm for your darn own stuff that is not directly related to the actual virus, like, especially with the economic hardship. Like, well, granted that some of this stuff, but it's like minimum wage. Once again, what this falls on deaf ears for people who is forced out of their jobs who make more than $15 an hour. Once again, estheticians, some of us can make upwards of 6 figures. So it's like, yeah, the median annual income is $41,000 for an esthetician, but some of us is making $60,000-$70,000. So a $15 hour minimum wage doesn't do anything for us commission workers, first of all. Second of all, for people working at Amazon and all that, they already making $15 an hour. Some of y'all are making $18, $19 an hour because of the demand. They got darn on certain stuff on Amazon backed up for a month. Like, now we're no longer guaranteed 2-day shipping because of the fact that they have to prioritize what to ship out first. Certain stuff ship out in 5 days instead of the normal 2. And this is under darn on Prime shipping. I hate to see what it looks like if you don't have Amazon Prime. But under Amazon Prime, it's like, it's a whole month to ship out certain stuff. So due to the demand, they hiring people left and right. And darn on, I'm seeing pay as high as $19 an hour. So $15 an hour ain't going to help people. Now, granted, they still open. But as far as other jobs, nursing homes that had intern staff members, you had to let them go. You had to keep your vital, registered nurses there instead of your entry-level darn on nurse that's still in nursing school. Once again, the spas are closed. Restaurants can't have no dine-in. And then it's just a mess. But Republicans had a deal until Nancy Pelosi rolled into town from her extended vacation, Trump said in a Twitter post late Monday night. Honey, but then again, I'm glad she did come rolling in, because it's like, now Republicans, y'all bill wasn't squeaky clean either. The Democrats want the virus to win. They are asking for things that have nothing to do with great workers' companies. Now, I don't know how great they is if they couldn't darn gonna manage their darn gonna finances. They should be able to unlike us, they should be able to have enough to keep themselves afloat above a month. You talking about that it's okay for an average company to be able to be without money after a month. It's like, bitch, bye. If anybody should have a contingency plan for 6 to 9 months, I would think it would be a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. What darn on conglomerate is stupid enough to be operating on a month-to-month expense? But then again, this is coming from somebody who bankrupted 6 casinos, so I can see why he's so laissez-faire on them should be running month-to-month, as opposed to having 6 months and 9 months of darn on money to work with, even under the most duress of circumstances, such as a global pandemic. That's just my professional marketing opinion. But earlier, McConnell said on the Senate floor that the bazaar is apparently open on the other side. But Schumer, speaking to reporters, and of course, y'all know 30 minutes without fail, this fan gives me the runny nose. At the Capitol late night, so this ain't the coronavirus, just want y'all to know that. We expect to have an agreement tomorrow that Muncham had called the president. The bill, Lord, this is a long thing, but it must be read. The bill will create a national requirement for states to allow early voting and voting by mail in cases of national emergency, and it will stop Trump from issuing any new financial regulations during the coronavirus emergency. The House plan will direct airlines that receive assistance to offset the carbon emissions and reduce them by 50% by 2050. I thought they was planning on reducing all of it by then, but it will provide grants for the development of substantial aviation fuels and allow the Department of Transportation to purchase inefficient airplanes if airplanes commit to purchasing newer, more fuel-efficient versions. Further, the Democrats' proposal will allocate $37 billion in grants to airlines and $3 billion to airline contractors to keep workers on the job, while the GOP bill offers only loans. So Democrats are proposing grants, GOP offering loans. Airlines for America, a lobby group for the largest U.S. carrier, pushes for at least $29 billion in grants to save jobs. Airlines will also be eligible for up to $21 billion in loans under the House plan. So they do have loans in addition to the grants, versus the Senate is only offering loans. The Senate rescue would provide $50 billion in loans for passenger carriers, plus another $8 billion for cargo haulers, but would not offer grants. Now, I'm 50-50 on that, because if we're talking about directly to the airline itself, honey, I might lean a little bit more on the Republican side, because it's like, now, bitch, we already are darn gonna bail Boeing out one time. And it's like, now, bitch, you are in the capable situation where, people are going to forever start getting back on planes once this shit is over with. So it's like, yeah, we can afford to give you a loan instead of a damn grant. But with us, since it's our taxpayer dollars, bitch, you should be giving us the damn grants instead of the loans. Honey, like I said, I'm just so over with both of these Democrats and Republicans. You got Democrats talking about, if we make a certain amount this year, we got to pay back our darn money that is technically mine over 3 years. But then y'all giving grants out to the airline industry. But then y'all want to try to flip the switch. No pun intended to the flip the switch challenge by Drake. But y'all want to flip the switch and try to say that the Republicans are trying to be corrupt, by giving out 50 billion, but the 50 billion is in exclusive loans that do have to be paid back. Now, there should be a contingency that it can't be, you can't go through bankruptcy or none of that. And this thing right here is irritating me. Let me close this ad. Okay. But yeah, it should be some contingencies on that 50 billion where it can't be, eradicated through bankruptcy or something like that. But at least they're offering exclusive loans. The Democrats are actually looking to seem, if it from the outside looking in, it looks like the Democrats are being a little bit more, easy on the airlines, than the Republicans are. But you're trying to say that the Republicans are more favorable towards the airlines because they're offering twice as much money, but the money is in the form of loans, which actually has to be paid back, versus, well, granted that they got to pay back the $21 billion to Democrats as well, but it's like 50 billion, okay, more money to go to the airline industry. So I need to see more about, the percentage plans, the payments, making sure you can't write it off, or because hell, if I can't write my student loan off in bankruptcy, they shouldn't be able to write out doggone 50 billion. So it's like, maybe I'm missing something where maybe the Republicans are trying to make it where, the loans can be forgiven in bankruptcy. I need more information on that. But it's like, I don't see the Democrat side being that much better. For small businesses, the Pelosi plan would unlock loans, grants, and payroll tax suspensions to help keep workers employed, while the Senate Republican bill gives the Energy Department $3 billion to buy crude for the U.S. emergency stockpile. The House Democrats and once again, every time these pop up, it bumps up my page and I lose my darn on track. Ugh. I can't stand these darn on non-secure sites. It does not offer grant. I think that's what it meant. I done lost my place, y'all. Okay. I think I was right here. It would not include no such funding. Okay, there we go. The House draft includes legislation passed by the House in July on a mostly party line vote to short financially troubled union pensions funds that serve more than 1 million workers and retirees. Senate Republicans have resisted the measure. People are sick, families are frightened, and then it goes on to talk about unprecedented job loss. House Republican leader Kevin McCarthy said in a statement, Democrats are using this national crisis to hold relief hostages unless Congress mandate corporate board diversity requirements and major components of the Green New Deal, which will kill American jobs. Once again, I'm all for the economy as well, a Green New Deal, but this is not the time to be negotiating. Okay, I give another point to the Republicans. This is not the time to be negotiating the Green New Deal during this situation. Climate change and this virus, I don't think necessarily are hand in hand. So the Senate version includes aid for middle-class taxpayers, the unemployed, and distressed companies and local governments. Although the details are different from the House plan, the Senate will give direct payments of $1,200 to most middle-class individuals with $500 per child. Now, I have a problem with that. Where you think a child is worth less than an adult, of all things, it should be vice versa. I would think the child would be worth more because the adult knows how to ration out and live off of a limited food supply, versus a child is a little bit more maintenance and upkeep, especially with schooling. And now you got the homeschooling for the next month and some change. So I don't know where the Republicans thought that $500 per child was better. Versus, it's like at the minimum y'all could have flipped the numbers around. I don't understand that. And then like I said, y'all offering darn on most of us that are low tax are $600 of this $1,200. So if you have 2 children, that's $1,600 with a household of 2 kids. So this is where I like the Democrats' proposal better, where they're offering $1,500. Now I don't know if it's up to 15 or a mandatory 1,500, regardless. Um, I think they do have it where if you make more money, it goes down. But they haven't talked about what if you have low tax liability like the Republicans. That's what I have not, gotten clear from the Democrats' plan. But at least they offer $1,500 for the child and the adult. So a household of 4 would be $6,000 versus under the Democrats, it would be $3,000 for 2 kids, 2 adults. So then it goes to say the most recent versions boosts unemployment payments and makes them available for longer periods. Although Democrats continue to push for more generous funding, which I'm here for. The Senate plan includes $500 billion to loan to struggling corporations in the state and local governments. That has been a source of tension with Democrats who are seeking more stringent rules for companies to get federal aid. And then the last thing is stocks sank Monday as lawmakers fought over the third and largest bill to address the coronavirus crisis. The S&P 500 index fell 2.9% as of 4 p.m. in New York, and the Dow Jones Industry averages lost 3%. The S&P is down almost 35% from its February 19th record, and the Dow Jones Industry average has lost almost all its gains since Trump was elected on November 8, 2016. Once again, somebody who darn gone bankrupt since 6 casinos. I'm not surprised. But yeah, this is what is holding up this process, y'all. But y'all tell me y'all thoughts on this bullshit. How y'all holding up during this crisis as we see the House and darn gone Senate darn gone toy around with our lives. And, in the next month or so, speaking of touring around with our lives, we might be out of episodes to even watch of days of our lives. Because, hell, the soap opera stars they only filmed a couple months in advance. It's like, shit, we're going to be out of darn on daytime soaps to watch in a moment. Reunion for the Housewives. Oh, Lord, I don't know when that shit going to come. That because, the host done came down with the virus, Andy Cohen. And then it's like now we got this mandated lockdown starting to initiate. It's like, well, hell, is we even going to even have a darn old reunion in the timely future? I think the season finale supposed to be next week. So how long from the last episode that we even going to see the damn reunion? It's going to be about 2-3 months before we even see the damn reunion. Shabu. But y'all tell me y'all thoughts on this shit right here. Y'all leave it down below, and I'll see y'all soon with more videos. Let me finally go ahead and blow my nose. I can't believe I got to deal with this for the next 30 days. Just